We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble. Now, let's get caught up on the situation here. We had just played Osawa's scenario with freaking Biohazard, man. It's ridiculous. Hello there, Meowington. So that sure was an interesting time. Now the only person we can play as is Minoru. Remember, at some point this person has a crossover with Tama? I think? We're gonna do it! The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 toward Shibuya. A motorcycle produced by Honda with an 85cc engine displacement, a common sight around town often used by newspaper and postal delivery workers. Many owners are big enthusiasts, sometimes even swapping out parts such as the handlebars or mufflers and giving the body a repaint, resulting in fashionable bikes that don't even look like Super Cubs at first glance. Huh. Yeah! He's Quicksilver in that one X-Men movie. Which X-Men movie even was that? It wasn't Apocalypse, was it? Was it Apocalypse? The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kilometers per hour. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minoru Minoru shouted as he sped along. "Damn it! I am not letting you die!" He jerked the handlebars and blew past a truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by. "You maniac! You trying to get yourself killed?" "That guy's a maniac! Why'd he bite me?" "Hey there, just a name." "Just the opposite," Minoru shouted back. "I'm saving lives!" The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off the intersection. Oh, come on! He had no choice but to slam on the brakes, but his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. Oh, yes, Dragon Ace, Days of Future Past, thank you. How long is this thing going to stay red? Hurry up already! He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minoru own light. Did that say the light turned red? Yeah, wait. We might have gotten that one wrong. Then Minoru own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter. Huh? Oh, come on! What the hell? Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. That's kind of funny. What an anticlimax. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Oh, so that's why he was in a taxi in that one thing. Was the problem the spark plug, or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike. His companion of 10 years. Abandoned on the roadside. What was the name of Kino's motorrad? Hermes, right? It was Hermes. Hermes, no! Does anybody have any idea what the hell I'm talking about? He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead, letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab. So there you go. Oh, Dragon Ace, the light turned red, meaning the other light. Good call. Whoops. Just ahead for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer. The taxi driver nodded coolly. Yes, sir. What does that say? King... It's not... It can't be Kong. King something company? Weird. It's a 2-star general, I guess. Of course, sir. 10 minutes! I need you to get me there in 10 minutes! The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit... 15, then! Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford! Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Minoru looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going? Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. The end. What? Minoru frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably would wrap this piece up in no time. Be quiet! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled. I'm writing here! But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up. Minoru speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? Hello there, insane buffoon. It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing. A publishing company that puts out both hard-hitting nonfiction books and tabloid-style scandal rags. The Invincible Journalist, penned by company president Toyama himself, was a candidate for the Japan Nonfiction Prize. Oh? What do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. Yeah, for real, Panda Brawler. He could just unplug the phone from the landline. Also, hello. Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here, working on some copy. Minoru was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. Ah, you're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minoru found it off-putting. I hear sales have been good on your end, he said cautiously. With this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. A magazine focusing on the private lives of celebrities and politicians. Most of the articles found that its pages are random nonsense, but 1 out of every 100 or so contains an actual major scoop, making it a difficult outlet to ignore. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while a mixed scoop was all okay, so we just read that. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved to 100,000 copies of these. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minoru asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Baffled, Minoru listened more closely. It came again. Then again. Ew? It sounded kind of like sobbing. Oh. Oh no! Did they accidentally put out some like popular number and everybody won? Because that'll ruin them for sure. Mr. Toyama? Are you crying? There was another soft sob and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minoru asked. At the office, Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama? You still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell is going on? Hey there, strange music hippie. Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minoru was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur. The only thing I can do now is die. Whoa. So he is going to save a life. Oh my god. Boom! The taxi's tires squealed as the cab rounded a corner. The shift in momentum made Minoru topple over in the back seat. There we go. 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minoru righted himself and looked out the window. Shibuya Station. I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimizuka. He told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon? Kimikuza bristled. Not you, the guy who's waiting on me, Minoru said. Oh no, who was this? Kano, I believe it was? I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind. Maybe it's not Kano, because... I don't know. The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minoru opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet. Then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass, and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Dude, that would not be the worst. Should he have the taxi wait here? Or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. Oh, man. Wait here, I'll be right back. No, I'm fine, you're a lifesaver. How much do I owe you? Damn, possibly a life or death situation. So, Chad, this brings up our first choice of the night. Do we tell the taxi to wait here, or just leave? A or B? What's it gonna be? And based on what I'm reading of the chat, nobody got my Hermes Motorrad reference. Oh well. Not exactly the newest thing to reference. Oh well. Kino's Journey, very good anime, depressing. So that's 1 vote for B, 2 votes for B, 3 votes for B, 4 votes for B, damn, all in a row. Do we have anything else? That was just kind of like a rapid fire of options. 1 vote for A. Do we have any more? 2 for A, 3 for A, wow, what a comeback. So it's 4-3 right now. Hello there, Jerry. Also, it's tied now. 4-4. Do we have a tiebreaker? That would be very much appreciated. I'll give a little more time, but if we don't end up with anything, then I'm going to have to make the call myself. And I don't really like to do that because it gives the chat only an illusion of choice. So is there anyone else who wants to weigh in? I don't plan on giving it much longer. B? Oh, Meowington, you're changing your vote? Okay. So I guess we're going with B then. An Echo Green Dragon. Oh, just reiterating a vote. Alright. Okay. We're doing B's! So I'm fine, you're a saver. Lifesaver. I hope his... Toyama's life isn't over. Whew, what a recovery. So how much do I owe you? Minoru paid the fare and got out of the cab. I'm going to swing by the train station, and if I don't get any passengers, I'll come by this way again, Kimazuka said. The taxi pulled away. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minoru took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Hello there, Guyungswolfen. Whoa! Oh, damn. Looks like we were there just in time. Toyama was standing on a stool about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling. Wait a minute. I thought this building looked familiar. Isn't this where, like, Osawa came in and just saw a noose there and he was like, huh, that's weird. What the hell are you doing? Minoru lunged for Toyama. The 2 men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minoru, what are you doing? Toyama whined. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know. Minoru fury was mounting. What the hell is this all about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, geez, I thought that this was supposed to be like a news publishing agency, not noose. Sorry, just a little gallows humor for you. I'm gonna press X now. Oh, that. One of the fluorescent lights died, and I was just swapping it out. What? The noose was like a handle to pull down the light bulb? Don't you feed me that bull! What was that phone call about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die. Tell me! Ha ha ha. Just a joke. Toyama curled his lips in a faint semblance of a smile. Minoru wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. A little girl came walking in, carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. What? Ka-dong! It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Tohiro Toyama's only daughter, currently 10 years old. The night Hana was born at Shibuya Central Hospital, there was an unexpected fireworks display outside the window of the maternity ward. Oh, that's pretty good. As he looked out at the bursting rockets, Tohiro decided to name his daughter Hana after the Japanese word for fireworks, Hanabi. Yeah, actually, the word Hana, I believe, more literally means flower, as in, like, the plant a flower, and I think Hanabi comes from that because fireworks, when they explode, kind of look like a flower blooming. It's pretty clever. Minorikawa stared. Toyama, you were planning on using that hose to... He hesitated to end his sentence with gas yourself to death. Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is! It was a beautiful sunny April day outside. Jeez. Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. Oh, damn. I actually have to play as somebody else? But who? To progress further, you'll need to jump. Oh, okay, Tama. Alright. I forgot about the jump. Alright, we'll do it. A man named Junichi Yanagishita shows up in Tama's story at 11:20. There you go. And he let out a sigh like Toyama's. What? That's the connection? Alright, it's fine. So, back to Tama. Jump. That was easy. Yeah, really, Winterburn, this wacky suicidal man. This reminds me of JoJo Part 6's Highway to Hell, where the fight was trying to prevent a guy from killing himself because his stand would kill people who are nearby in the same way that he died. It was comical and, like, really dark at the same time. Alright, so let's jump. Mr. Yanagishita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. Kabam! So, like, we just kind of bounced back for a second. That didn't really affect the story, but if we had played as Minorikawa first, we would have had to play as Tama up to that point to get to this area. Hey there, Taylor. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. It's the scratch card. Ow, did I call it or what? It's the scratch cards that were in 4-star general gossip. A type of lottery card featuring areas printed with a special silver ink. These silver inked areas can be scratched off with just a fingertip or coin to reveal potential winnings, providing a quick speed lotto fix. In order to prevent the symbols or letters underneath the silver from showing through, the back of the card is printed in black. However, you always seem to lose when you get your hopes up, but manage to win when you least expect it. Haha. That's where the problem is. And what is the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where the winning symbols are. Oh no! Whoa! I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this, he gestured vaguely, it's my fault. My responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols, and suddenly thousands of cardholders turned up en masse to collect. Oof. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Ooh. So it really is like Mr. Yanagishita, like they're both just royally screwed for money because of, well, scam in his case, and flub in this guy's case, Toyama's. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left at the company. And he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star general gossip. Oh boy. If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper. And if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue, Minorikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box. But Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile that had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 win symbols. Oh. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. The final stage before printing, when the copy or manuscript is checked for errors. Not sending corrected proofs to the printer before the deadline can result in the book or magazine in question not making it onto the shelves in time for release day. Well then, Minoru thought to himself. He let out a sigh, then held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minoru. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout of the draft proposal for next month's issue. Objection! Toyama blinked a few months. I was reading the upper line. Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I'm trying to help. Just show me the layout of the proposal before I change my mind. And after a brief incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout, in publishing speak, is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minoru gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. It's hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock. Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, alright. Says who? Minoru replied. Remember who you're talking to here. You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minoru shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. Oh man, I don't think Minoru and I would get along very well. Why are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minoru, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head so deeply, Minoru thought he might put his face through the floor. Don't apologize to me, apologize to your daughter. Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms, and the girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey now, enough of the waterworks. I got your backs. Don't you worry about a thing. Minoru picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The word Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special, come on, were plastered across the cover sheet in big bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket? Drink yourself thin with burning hammer. Dude, I love the way this game is slowly starting to tie together. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it were mixed with a laxative, probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minoru had a rough idea where it was. It looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in the hopes of getting more material. This is amazing. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance. Hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. What? The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Achi's crew? Hey there, Dusan. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. I don't know about that one. Sexy squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya now! Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya? Jesus. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed? What? Is that the... what? Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. Yeah, right, Winterburn. The old school trick. Increase the font size. Maybe, alter the spacing between letters as well. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods, but at this point, however, things had flipped around completely and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. This is absolutely Achi's thing. This is great. A turn to the dark side. It had the makings for an interesting article, to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minoru was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minoru was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Minoru decided that one of those 3 would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. This is actually a really big decision. There was a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut A. Shibuya Now, the one with no content. B. Achi's crew, but can we find them? C. Black market organ trafficking, by far the most interesting, but will we actually be able to find anything out on it? This is a legitimate choice. What do you say, chat? A, B, or C? I really don't know where to go with this one. As far as interest, I would cut Shibuya Now, but we might have to fill it with something because we might not be able to pull off B or C. It's a real question. So what should I do? One vote for C, cutting C. C, personally, I find the most interesting, but again, can we do anything with it? Who knows? So we have one vote for C. Anything else? One vote for A. One vote for B. Okay, we're tied again. 2 for A, 2 for C. Damn, chat is divided. 3 for A. Is that all we have? 3, 2, and 1? Another vote for C, so it's 3A, 3C. Well, well, well. Dracologist, I don't know if organs ties to the doctor. It may. Get rid of the B. We got more C. It looks like C is slightly winning now. I might end up going with C then. It's kind of a shame. I actually particularly wanted to pursue C, but the chat says cut C, so we're doing it. Finally, he decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. It had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I said. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance. Where are they now? Sexy Squared. Those 3 pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minoru decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. The only one he managed to get a hold of was Shinnosuke Oarai from the Where Are They Now piece. Former broadcast writer, has appeared on various popular variety shows on commercial network Sun TV. He currently heads up a small theater troupe known as the Wandering Angels, operating out of Shibuya. Later today, the troupe is putting on a performance at Theater Ace in Sakuragaoka-cho. Sakuragaoka-cho. There we go. Wait a minute, Sakuragaoka, that's where you live in Shenmue. Yo! He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30. Minoru sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? Damn, this is gonna be... This is definitely gonna be a case where, like, I think the choice we just made is gonna affect, like, the entire, like, later in the game, and not necessarily just this chapter. It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing. And that was another writer. Minoru zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines, overseas on business, in the hospital, currently doing time. Before long, he'd called everyone he could think of except for one. Novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minoru had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. In such a rattled state as to be unable to speak, Chiaki's tendency to become flustered is famous among her freelancer writer colleagues. Once she conducted an hour-long interview during which she only managed to ask her interview subject's name. Yet another chapter in the legend of hopelessly flustered Chiaki. Wow, that is amazing. That's fantastic. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews, and if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue is whether she would hinder more than help. No time for beggars to be choosers. Call up Chiaki. What he needed now were dependable folks. Email all his contacts from back in his staff reporter days. Oh! I think I know what we're going to do. I'm just going to say option B for this one. For once, I'm going to take away the choice because I believe option B is what leads Osawa to get the email because Minoru made a typo. So I'm pretty sure this is the wrong end. I'm going to go with this one, and I'll come back to A after the fact. What he needed now were dependable folks he could count on. Email and contacts. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing ASAP. If not, someone is going to die. Minoru. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Everyone's saying A. Don't worry, I'll come back to A. I have to. The message might have been extreme, but it was technically true. Still, he was taking a risk, hoping that someone would react to the email in time. That's what it was. As it turned out, he got a response before too long. If this is about Toyama, no can do. Sorry. The bluntness of the reply made Minoru wonder. Had Toyama been busy burning bridges? Before long, 2 more responses came, but they both contained a similar answer. No dice, then. Waiting around for someone to turn up to help save the day was probably a waste of time. Without any other real options, Minoru decided to call up Chiaki. There it is. So we were doing it anyway. See? The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Yeah, hang on. And now option A, right? There you go, chat. That wasn't so bad, was it? And now chat's all mad at me because I gave the illusion of choice. I apologize, but it's already over. We did it. We did it. We're back. Everything is safe. Sound only. Chiaki, so. Hello? Chiaki, hi. It's Minoru. Are you free today? Huh? What? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? Huh? No, I mean, well, yeah. Good morning. Her voice still sounded half asleep. So I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. Jeez. She didn't sound well. Almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. What? You really mean it? That seemed to finally wake her up. Hello there, Katsith. Yeah, but hurry. Minoru decided he'd assign Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece. I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station. Street interviews? Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak. But Mr. Mino, street interviews aren't really my, Kid, you were just telling me about how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now? Well, I mean, I guess not. The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through Toyama. Or, we'll get through Toyama. Somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem. Are you kidding me? Minoru couldn't hide the irritation in his voice. What is it now? The loan company's sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. Oh! But as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them. That's less than ideal, yeah. So what's the plan? Well, they've said provisionally that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment. Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed. But they're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If we could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them. Alright, Minoru said wearily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock. They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. They made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems you'd like to let me know about? No, Toyama said, that's all. Didn't it say like 112 a little while ago? What's with this 1134? Unless they're being cute and it's hell upside down. Wouldn't that be interesting? I really am sorry about this, Minoru. Again, he bowed his head low. Minoru felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to this like this before. Yeah, well, just let me handle it, alright? Minoru unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Diet drink sales demo, center guy. Where are they now? Sakuragaoka Theater. Ace. Society of Surveillance. Dogenzawa Indo-Electronics. Sexy Squared. Midoriyama Academy. A university associated with Midoriyama High School. Notable alumni include famous actress Masami Nagahama and National High School Baseball Championship winning pitcher, the Tissue Prince? What? Its educational philosophy is summed up in its slogan, Words, Skill, and Beauty. A very high percentage of winners of the Miss Midoriyama contest go on to careers in the entertainment industry. Shibuya Vigilantes, location to be determined. The diet drink sales demo was at 1, and the interview with Shinosuke Arai, where are they now, was slated for 2:30, so those times were set. The question was what to do in the interim. Center guy, interview the diet drink demo now? Dogenzaka, Endo Electronics. Wow. So we have Tama. I don't know if she's going to be there, but we have Tama's plotline or we have Achi's plotline. Ladies and gentlemen, A or B? What's it going to be? I am most curious. I don't know if we're going to actually be able to get an interview with the sales demo. I guess the guy is there, so there's potential. Endo Electronics, I don't know if Achi's actually there right now. Maybe his gang? So we have 1 vote for option A, 1 vote for B. Do we have any more? 2A. 2B. 3A. Damn, we're quite divided again. 4A. 5A. I think I know where we're going with this. 6A, yeah. Hello there, Jonathan. I think we're doing A. Once the event started, things might be too busy for him to get any face time. If he got there ahead of time, he'd be able to ask more questions. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it? Minoru tossed the draft proposal into his bag and hurried out of Heaven Publishing. We're really just going along with this, aren't we? Preparations for the Burning Hammer diet drink sales demo seemed to be well underway when he arrived at the Nokane building. Minoru could hear voices from somewhere ahead as he made his way down the corridor. He knocked on the door and a tired-looking man poked his head out. Yes, can I help you? Hi, my name is Minoru I'm a freelance writer. I'd like to interview you about Burning Hammer. Whoa! Huh? Oh, an interview? The man's face lit up with an enormous smile. Are you the person in charge then? Norikawa asked. That's me. Name's Junichi Yanagishita. Thanks for your interest in Burning Hammer. Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away. The instant sales pitch, eh? Well, at least the guy was confident in his product. Is that tagline actually true? Norikawa asked. The more you drink, the more you lose? Absolutely. Have a try for yourself and you'll see. Here, a free sample. Yanagishita produced a small bottle from his jacket pocket. It was filled with some kind of red liquid. So this is Burning Hammer, huh? Yes, and I don't mind telling you it's a fantastic product. The proud smile on Yanagishita's face spread from ear to ear. Minoru opened the bottle. Oh, hey, Yanagishita said quickly. Before you drink that. What? You're not on an empty stomach right now, are you? Minoru blinked. What? Well, it's just, if you drink the product on an empty stomach, how do I put this? There are some minor health, it's just the body might not, or it's just, look, don't sweat the details, it's fine, Minoru said. I didn't have any breakfast this morning, but hey. Oh no, did we get a wrong end? He tipped the tiny bottle back and drained it in a single go. Oh god. It didn't taste bad, really. In fact, it didn't taste like much of anything. Not much flavor, huh, he said. Well, yeah, it starts out that way, in the beginning. Are you feeling alright? Alright how? Just, alright. Are you sure you're feeling fine? Look, what is it? Minoru asked. If you want to say something, just say it. Well, alright then. So it turns out that if you drink it on an empty stomach, some nasty stuff can happen. Nasty stuff? Meaning what exactly? Well, let's see. First, there's a tingling sensation in the tongue. Indeed, an uncomfortable tingling was starting to spread along Minoru tongue. After that, your whole body starts to get hot like froosh! Minoru felt a flush spread across his skin. You'll start sweating all over. Sweat was practically streaming from his pores. A sort of steam will start coming out of your ears and nose. Oh, please. Yes! It's so stupid! Water vapor began to gush from his ears and nostrils as if from a kettle that had reached a boil. And finally... death! Wait, what? Whoa! What? This is the best game. Before Minoru could hear what the last thing was, his body launched into the air like a rocket with stupid cartoon effects. His head crashed into the ceiling and he crumbled right back into the floor. That actually happens. The best. It felt like his heart might shoot out of his throat at any moment. Yeah, it goes kind of like that, Yanagishita finished. He looked at Minoru with pity in his eyes. It goes kind of like that? What the hell are you thinking selling something like this? Well, it's just... yeah, Neko Green Dragon. Gear seconds! Well, it's just... this isn't a diet aid. It's a death trap. Minoru shuddered, his whole body racked with pain. Well, be fair now. I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach. Jesus! Go to hell, you psychopath! You can't be allowed to sell this poison. I'm taking you down. Clutching his pen as if it were a sword, Minoru lurched to his feet, his mind little more than a blur. And as we all know, the pen is mightier than the sword. Die! He lunged at his foe. Yanagishita screamed. Wait, is that really? Did I kill a man? Over the course of the next 2 hours? Wait. What happened over the course of the next 2 hours? Minoru okay, chased. Woo! The diet drink salesman around the building in a berserk haze. When someone finally alerted the police, it took 4 officers to subdue him, and when he finally came to his senses in his detention cell, the 4-star general gossip deadline had long since passed. He turned and faced the wall, muttering to himself. All burning hammer and no beer make Minoru something something. If only I'd eaten breakfast. The best game. Yo, that was amazing. That was fantastic. Feeling the burn? You're goddamn right. Drinking Burning Hammer turned Minoru into a rampaging maniac who wound up getting himself arrested. So yeah, showing up at the sales demo ahead of schedule? Bad call. Maybe when he had time to kill, he should have visited into electronics instead. Yeah... that's actually really funny. Oh, I have to press X first. I was pressing triangle to go to the timeline, but I have to register this first. That was awesome! Although the chat did make a very good point. Back to my choice? No, not have the taxi wait. Well, there was what gets cut, but calling Chiaki... yeah, maybe I should just go through with Chiaki and see if it leads me to the same path. Whoops. Because if it all leads to the same thing, then I'll go back to A again, but I just wanted to see if this works. Nah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. As far as I could tell, so I'm just going to go back to choosing A. Interesting, then, that we put Chiaki on Shibuya now. Like, what other thing could we have put her on? Who knows, right? So we're calling Chiaki. We're doing it. There we go. Well, let's just make that save. Okay. So now we will go to the other option, which is right here anyway, I guess. Choosing the first interview. Hey, I know. Let's go to Endo Electronics. I am so curious as to what happens if you select the other things to boot out. So we're going to Dogenzaka now. Yeah, that should give him what he needed to put together the Society of Surveillance piece. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about it. Hustle down to the end. Hoping to have ammunition to heart. A taxi came by just as Minoru stepped outside. Huh? You again? It was Kimizuka's taxi again. What can I say? I know how to sniff out a guy who's going places. Really? Well then, Dogenzaka, ASAP. Son of a bitch. Minoru bristled. That's hilarious. It's like the other way around. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give a piece of your mind, sir. Was he waiting for you like you expected? This is just like that fascist hag thing in Hot Fuzz, where they like bring it back at the end of the movie. Oh, yeah. And I damn well did give him a piece of my mind, too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. Minoru pulled out the proposal and looked it over again. The ideal for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them. Supposedly, these had eliminated lots of blind spots and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were masked by Daisuke Endo, the owner of Endo Electronics, no kidding, and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minoru first mission then. He needed to get this guy's story. Okay. Scanning the side of the road, Minoru finally spotted a rundown electronics shop. The sign out front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. The taxi stopped and Minoru pulled a 10k yen bill from his wallet. Keep the change, he said. What? Look, don't sweat it. Minoru is definitely the most anime character of any of these playable characters. The name is Minoru I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things, what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. There's a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please take it. Minoru slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. So we're not running into Kano then. Maybe that's if we chose a different path. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than an actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against computers with 5-inch floppy drives. Jesus, this stuff's like 30 years old. A storage medium for personal computers in production from 1976 to 2001. The magnetic discs are sheathed in paper or plastic jackets and are known for their tendency to flop around in one's hand. Technically speaking, there are 5.25 inches in diameter. Incidentally, Door, released in 1983, the debut title from this game's producer, Koichi Nakamura, was produced in 5-inch floppy version. From this game's producer, it's a little meta, but that's kind of cool. What possible use could there be for all this outdated stuff? Mr. Endo, are you in here? Minoru called out. Nobody came out to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. Hey, Mr. Endo! Come on, I know you're in there. After a short wait, Minoru heard sounds in the living space behind the shop. A door opened to reveal a tired-looking, middle-aged man. Yeah, what do you want? Are you Mr. Endo? Minoru asked. I am, the man said guardedly. And I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Could you come back tomorrow, or please just give me a minute? I'm a freelance writer. Name's Minoru. Minoru showed Endo his business card. I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip. A magazine piece, huh? Precisely. So if I could have just a little of your time today. A phone rang, cutting him off before he could get down to business. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. Hello, Endo Electronics. The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try and get a hold of the customer then. Endo set the receiver back down. What was that all about? Minoru asked. Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine, and the manufacturer just called to let me know the model's defective. Defective? Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. So it turns your area into a horror movie? I don't frickin' know. I need to tell the customer I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment. Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off of one, and made a phone call. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. That's right, he grumbled to himself. He said they had some performance today. Performance? Minoru asked. I sold it to a guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something. Dude, this is too good. A theater troupe run by Shinosuke Orai. This afternoon at 5:30, they're performing their 22nd piece, Au Revoir, right now. All the actors are already at the theater except for Akiomi Mondo, who plays the rival to the main character Ryu. The angry production chief has sent his assistants to Mondo's apartment, but he does not yet know what awaits him there. Continued in the tale of Wandering Angels, Episode 2. 6 episodes in all. Thanks. The Wandering Angels? That was Shinosuke Orai's theater troupe. Minoru had an interview with him booked for 2:30. Anyhow, what can I do for you? Minoru hastily explained what he was after, and Endo gave him a dubious look. As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now. Busy cleaning up, I hope. How do you get anything done in this mess? Why, are you this rude to all your interview subjects? 5 minutes! Just give me 5 minutes of your time, please. You've got to be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Endo headed for his back room in a huff. Fine, then I'll just have to write about what you've already told me. Namely, that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise. Huh? What are you implying? Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm gonna get in touch with them as soon as I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minoru said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with a member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minoru replied, but one thing I'm not is a liar. The shopkeeper took a few moments to think about it. Fine, he grumbled. 5 minutes. That's all you get. Minoru whipped his notepad out of his coat like he was drawing a gun. Excuse me while I whip this out. Then let's get right down to it, shall we? Go on ahead. Whoa, a color television. So I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya shopping districts. Yes, that's right. Why so many? We used to have a lot of delinquents in town. Young people who act rowdy or cause trouble, often at arcades or convenience store parking lots, and who frequently resort to petty theft and other mischief, also referred to in more outmoded terms as ruffians or hoodlums. Wow, thanks. Or hoodlums, I guess. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah, I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. They were just awful. I see. Minoru scribbled diligently in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Wait. Vigilante squad. Hold up right there for a second. Minoru jutted out his hand to interrupt. This guy's son was part of the vigilante squad? What a stroke of luck. Maybe he could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Sorry, I don't mean to get too far off topic here, but could you tell me the name of this group your son belongs to? They call themselves... Send me out an SOS. Originally a group of well-meaning young people who would get together downtown as a sort of vigilante squad, trying to keep Shibuya clean and safe. In those days, the group never engaged in theft or other criminal activities. More recently, however, SOS has become one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya, resorting to defacing public property with graffiti, shoplifting, and shaking people down for cash. Prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya? Just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. As it happens, I'd also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Yeah, sure. But you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. Wha-bam! So we could jump to Achi, but I'm going to hold off on that for now. Oh, Minoru hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. Oof. The look on Endo's face spoke volumes. There was no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't with the gang anymore. No, I'm missing an opportunity! It figured that Minoru's run of good luck would end eventually. Still, he'd gotten a lead in the form of a name, SOS. That was progress. Alright, so back to the matter at hand. He flipped his notepad back open. What did you decide to do about all those juvenile delinquents? I set up a tiny little webcam in order to protect my property. Cameras designed to send video information to a computer via the internet. Look carefully and you can often spot them outside private residences and even on public streets, where they're installed for use in surveillance. Given the risks of transmitted data being intercepted, the images recorded by such cameras are generally encrypted to prevent playback by unauthorized third parties. Many landmarks and attractions make their camera footage publicly available online. I see. I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? Sure did. And so the other local businesses heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Webcams aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough to set them up all over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the downtown business committee take turns. The cameras are connected to a wireless network that business owners can access throughout the area. A LAN or local area network. A communication system that can only be used within a limited geographical area. A wireless LAN transmits using electronic signals. Although convenient because it does not require cable attachments, there is a risk of signals conveyed in this way being intercepted by a third party. Now, how's your security for this wireless network? Oh, no problems on that front. Endo seems surprised at the question. All the footage sent over the network is fully encrypted. So it encodes data, so it's indecipherable by a third party. Restoring this to its original form requires a key, a program designed for this purpose. There are two main types of such cryptographic systems. Secret key, use the same key for encryption and decryption, and public key, use a public key to encrypt, but have a private key, known by the recipients, to decrypt. Still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Minoru asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who determines what that balance is? Minoru let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of the security cameras. I see. So essentially you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying I'm abusing my authority, Endo shot back? I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right, you've had your 5 minutes, now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed into the back. I'll be sure to let the Wandering Angels know about the dry ice machine, Minoru hollered at their closing door. Episode 2, really? When Akami Mondo didn't show up at the theater at the meetup time, production assistant Yukio Tozuka went to call on him at his apartment. Upon arriving, Tozuka found that the place had been staked out by debt collectors. Mondo had borrowed 300,000 yen, and they wouldn't leave his home until he paid up. It looked like the only way to save Mondo was to give the debt collectors the operating funds for the theater. But before Tozuka could head back to relay the news, the props master Shinichi Bando showed up. Continued in episode 3. Endo didn't reply. Ba-bam! Yo, this is freaking awesome. Minoru had gotten enough of a story to put an article together, so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some copy. He was making his way along Dogonzaka when his cell phone rang. The incoming call display showed Jackie's name. Jackie, what's going on? Oh, it's no use. She sounded like she was on the verge of tears. What's no use? I can't do this. I just can't talk to people passing by on the street. What? Why not? It's just that everyone seems so busy when they're walking past. If I try to interrupt them, they're gonna be all mad at me. Well, who the hell cares if they get mad? Minoru was ready to start ripping his hair out. I don't want them to be mad at me, she whimpered again. Well, this wasn't about what she wanted, was it? She was supposed to be working, not whining. Look, Chiaki, you need me to get those interviews, period. Do I make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. Jeez, rough. Damn it, Minoru muttered. Just what I needed. One more thing to worry about. He pulled at his hair a few times and cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. Okay, that's his end. I'm gonna go back and check other options now. What happens if we do completely different stories? I am very curious. There's that jump, obviously. We did this. Yeah, what about having the taxi wait? What if I do that? Because the choosing the newspaper stuff I think might be more complicated. Whoops. Yeah, what if we have the taxi wait? Does it make a difference? Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. We just go? Yeah, I don't think it matters. But then again, the taxi did come back after the fact. We leave the building. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. He hopped back into the taxi that was waiting outside. Thanks for waiting. Can you get me into Dogonzaka ASAP? Right, it's the same question. Son of a bitch. Okay, done. That was quick. Alright, so now there's the big one. What gets cut? So what if I choose a different story to cut? Because that'll change the whole dynamic with Chiaki, right? So, chat, give me a different option. Should we cut A, Shibuya now, or should we cut B, the rise and fall of the Vigilante Squad? If we cut the Vigilante Squad... Actually, no, you know what? No, you know what? No. I'm coming back to this. I'm going to jump to Achi first. Because if we cut the Vigilante Squad, that'll change everything. So let's just jump. And then I'll come back to the choice. I'm sorry. We'll be back. I promise we'll be back. My son. Boom. Boom. Because that's his keep out thing, right? That changes things. The chat's like universally saying A, so I'll do that next. So thank you for letting me know. Oh, Dracologist is a quick run to the wall? Okay. Well, I'll have to come back to it later. I apologize. Hitomi, look! There it was. Oh, yeah, the blue van they were looking for. A blue van had appeared nearby, parked in a spot that had been empty previously. Achi couldn't see who was inside, but there was definitely something fishy about it. Besides, there weren't any other blue cars around, so this had to be it. He'd been right, the crooks had come back after all. I'm gonna go take a quick look, Achi said. You wait here. But before he could carry out his plan, Hitomi jumped to her feet. Without a word, she rushed toward the van. Hold on, I said wait! She wasn't slowing down. Achi caught hold of her arm. Wait! This could be dangerous. What are the kidnappers in there? Well, what if my sister's in there? I have to go help her. Oh, Dracologist, you're just guessing if option A was a quick wall? Well, we'll find out. Achi knew full well what it was like to be impulsive, but this was one situation where cooler heads would have to prevail. We can't just hang out here, she insisted. What if the car takes off again? That's why I said I was going to take a look first. But isn't that dangerous? What if they do something to my sister because some random guy comes snooping around? Oh. Huh. Yeah. You got a point. Achi thought as fast as he could. The criminal told Hitomi to get into the van. There had to be some specific reason for that. What if they were planning to abduct her as well? Whatever the case, he couldn't just let her go. He had to make a snap decision. Oh no. Look, let me go first. I don't want to put you at risk. Let's go together then. Does that work for you? Damn. Tough question. Chat, A or B? I go alone, we go together. What's it gonna be? I'm actually quite curious about this. How is this gonna work? Waiting for the chat to catch up on this one. We have 1 vote for B, 2 for B. Is that it? 2 votes? And they're both B? 3B, 4B, 5B. Everyone's going with B. Alright. Let's go together then. Does that work for you? Please. We have no idea who or what we might run into. Hitomi gave a slight nod. Alright, she said. But let me go first and you follow, okay? Got it, Achi replied. Achi waited as Hitomi started walking, then followed her at a distance, so it wouldn't look like they were together. She headed straight for the van. It's like the wrong van. Nope! 2 men got out of the car, neither of them Japanese. Achi picked up his pace in case he needed to close the distance fast. One of the men approached Hitomi and said something to her. She gave an affirming nod. Suddenly, the 2 men grabbed her from either side. They dragged her to the van and shoved her into the back seat. Achi broke into a sprint. Of course it was a trap. He couldn't guess what their whole plan was, but kidnapping Hitomi was obviously part of it. But before he could reach the vehicle, the doors slid shut. The van sped off an instant later. Achi raced after it. He ran as hard as he could, thinking of nothing else. He couldn't give up now. Couldn't let things end like this. He made a promise. No quitting halfway, and no turning his back on someone in trouble. Oh, that's a bad end immediately. Wow, the chat like universally went with the bad end. But the car kept getting further and further away. Before long, it was just a blue speck that vanished into the cityscape. No! Wow, bad end. Achi never saw Hitomi again. Wow, that's dark. To be continued. What? Bad end. Oof. Lost sight of the van. That was bad. Achi did try to warn Hitomi that checking out the van by herself was dangerous, and oh look, she got herself kidnapped. I love the sass on these comments. Maybe he should have put his foot down and checked on things himself first. Wow. Okay. Hey, I got an idea. Let's choose the other thing. Look, let me go first. I don't want to put you at any risk. Hitomi's determination wavered at the look in Achi's eyes. Please, he continued, we have no idea who or what we might run into. If I think they're going to try to run off again, I'll give some signal. And then you can come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod. Please be careful. Will do. And tell me if my sister's in there. I will. You can count on it. Achi stepped out into the open and started walking toward the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying it any attention. Yup, I'm just an ordinary passerby. As he got nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside or even how many people. Casually, he moved closer still to get a better look. Oh, damn. Suddenly, the sliding door burst open and several people jumped out. None of them was Japanese. Within moments, Achi was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Achi said. He let a little chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing, anyway? He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. Jeez. One of the men pulled a knife from inside his jacket, thrusting it out in Achi's direction. He'd probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Achi went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. That's not easy. Jesus. There was a loud crack as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. The others stared, then rushed him. Hitomi, it turns out it's a trap! Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Achi was just going to have to take out the rest of these punks too. He nimbly shifted his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't going to be pretty. Achi, he heard Hitomi cry out. Crap. He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight off 3 guys and protect her at the same time? What could he do? What should he do? Oh, nice! Within moments, a number of passers-by had gathered around the fight. Maybe they'd heard Hitomi shouting. Hey, what's going on? Oh my god, is that a knife? This ain't just some petty squabble. Someone call the police! Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. Nice! One of the men cursed in frustration and signaled for his buddies to get back into the car. Oh, thank god. Achi couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Achi merely watched it go. He'd failed. This was his fault. All of it. Achi bit his lip, hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Achi? Hitomi's voice was hollow, empty. Achi stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry, I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. The words, so simple and matter-of-fact, stung him to the heart. I'm so sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know I messed up, but He was going to say, I'll make up for it, somehow, but he froze with fear at what he saw next. Oh, damn. It's just one reveal after another. Hey there, Galleon. Across the street staring at them was the man with the cane. Hitomi, it's him! They had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogonzaka. The assassin followed, staying on his side of the road. Achi wasn't sure what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No. It was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogonzaka for now. The man wouldn't be able to gun them down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd along Center Guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Achi and Hitomi could outrun him. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogonzaka and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi, just a little further. Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Achi risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. Kano? What's wrong? Hitomi asked. That guy, he's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't all that steep. Several plainclothes detectives have been hiding amidst the crowd in the intersection as part of the kidnapping stakeout. Right now, Director Kuze is sending a message to all officers over the wireless, and so the detectives have stopped to listen in. It's a bit unusual. An observant individual might notice. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yes, I'm alright. Then this is our chance. This way. They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassin came after them again, but they also needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? Achi wasn't sure one way or the other, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward along Center Guy. This is freaking intense. Is that the end finally? Yeah, that's finally the end for Achi. Damn, that was a lot. This game isn't playing. Alright, now back to Minoru, I suppose. Or, wait a minute. No, that's right. We did both options for this. Okay. Okay. So back to... We could always wrap up Osawa later, but I'm also curious about Minoru options for which story to cut. The chat, like, universally said A, so let's see what changes if we close down the Shibuya now. He didn't have time to make up an article out of whole cloth. His goal was just to make sure that 4-star General Gossip made it to the press at all. We read these... Well, we got Chiaki, but, like... We called Chiaki, but what happens? So she's gonna get the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. So what are we doing? Checking the freaking organs? And she still's gotta interview, like, 10 people. Wait, the more time-consuming organ market story would have to be cut? Oh, no, okay, no, yeah. I'm gonna do the That's right, we had originally planned to axe the Shibuya Now piece, because it didn't have any content. But getting some quotes from people on the street would make for useful filler. So, she'll do Shibuya Now. And then I'll cut the organ market story anyway. So it was like... Okay, so it was the illusion of choice. Alright, so what if we do the last thing then? So we coincidentally chose correctly the first time, I guess? So we cut the vigilante squad, which means that we do the organ trafficking? Tracking down the gang would take a ton of time. If they refused to be interviewed, he was hosed. Make sure that the gossip made it to the press at all. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Call Chiaki. We call her. Street interviews for Shibuya Now. And that's it? We're just gonna do the other thing? Where do we head next? Diet, drink stuff. Why would I go to Endo Electronics? Am I missing something? I don't know. No appointments have been made. Dicey prospect. Call them up. Yeah, we got the where are they now thing. We need another writer. We got Chiaki. She's gonna help. Can you help us with the street interviews? Why would I go to freaking Endo Electronics? Oh, unless... I don't get... Am I missing something? Because... Why does cutting the gang stuff allow me to do Endo Electronics? That's kind of bothering me. Did I do this right? Like, if we're cutting the squad, then too bad for me. Oh, that's right, we were doing Society of Surveillance, so it does make sense. But if I go to the Society of Surveillance, then what, do I suddenly discover the squad and end up going with it, I guess? Is that what happens? That might be what happens, actually. So we're getting the interview. You get 5 minutes. We got this gang. Wait a minute. Vigilante Squad. Hold on. Maybe I could do the gangs thing. Maybe I could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Did I hit the jackpot? Okay. So it just so happens that we chose... It just so happens that we chose correctly the first time and everything else leads in that direction. So it all comes back to that. We did it. We did it. Yeah, surveillance and organ trafficking. Good call, Meowington. Now I guess all that's left. We got to be continued with Minoru. And you, and you, and you. All that's left is Osawa. So now that we did not hastily send emails, let's see what happens if we go back to Tanaka with Osawa, right? We called Tanaka over the intercom. Something I want to show you. Could you come in here? We get the spooky mail. We check the virus stuff here. So we'll do this. We'll go back to where we were. We should not get that email this time about the life or death thing, right? So we should just go. Yeah, just happy for the chance to play around with UA. But then, another email. The sender, A. The subject line, 1 year ago. South Africa. Again. So I don't think it's the they're gonna die email from Minoru. Do not look away. These are your crimes. This time there were 4 images attached. Osawa proceeded to open each of them in turn. The first shocked Osawa so much that he felt like he'd been punched in the head. Oh boy, chat, get ready. This ought to be good. One of the UA patients from the earlier images was being injected with something. No, Osawa muttered to himself. It can't be. The second image showed one of the infected, hunched over in pain, vomiting up blood. The symptoms had already manifested, but Osawa thought he could see that some degree of life had come back into the patient's eyes. He rushed to open the third image. It showed a morgue, piled high with corpses. The rictus of anguish on the dead faces made them look no longer human. Various fluids seeped from the eyes and nostrils. The lymph nodes were grotesquely swollen. Small organs that function as part of the lymphatic system in mammals. When a foreign substance invades the body, the lymph nodes detect it, prompting the production of white blood cells such as lymphocytes and macrophages to consume the invader. A viral infection sometimes causes the lymph nodes to swell up as a result of increased activity. Oh boy. There were hospital beds stained with massive amounts of blood and gastric fluids. Oof. Next came the fourth and final image. A face? More corpses. They had badges affixed to their chest with various labels. 6 hours passed, 12 hours passed, and 18 hours passed. It looked as if someone had been attempting live trials with the antiviral agent. Oof. Osawa didn't consider the antiviral agent ready for release, but that was because his team hadn't conducted clinical trials on humans yet. And there was a good reason why such trials hadn't been conducted. There was no way to test the efficacy of the drug without an infected patient. To run a proper clinical test, someone would first need to be infected with the virus. No matter how effective animal testing had been, if the drug proved ineffective on humans, that person would have a guaranteed death sentence. It was unthinkable to run trials that involved such a deadly risk. And yet, as he looked over the images again and again, Osawa became certain. Without his knowledge, someone, presumably someone from Okoshi Pharmaceutical, had conducted human testing with the antiviral agent. The time markers on the corpses in the fourth image were surely there to mark the time elapsed since the onset of symptoms. A thorough trial would test the drug's effectiveness in those time frames. Osawa slammed his fist on the desk, enraged. This was nothing short of vile human experimentation in the guise of clinical testing. The people responsible could not be allowed to get away with this. There was only one person Osawa could trust to keep this under wraps. His boss, Makino. I do kind of find it amusing that the Minoru connection is only because of an error and shouldn't actually happen. He reached for his phone to call Makino, but he stopped short as soon as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of mind to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning to the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he'd had no interest in the arts in general. Music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamiki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present, so he'd swung by the store to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a time, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice deep breath. He then dialed up Makino, or... He closed his eyes and tried to banish his nerves completely. What'll it be, chat? Call our boss, or really make sure we stress heal with the risk of just zoning out? So call our boss maybe before we're ready, or get a little too ready. It's a risk either way, so A or B. What's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? How are we going to do this? Any options, please? We have one for B. 2 for B. 3 for B. 4 for B. Okay. B, B, B. Alright. First he took a nice deep breath. Then he closed his eyes and tried to banish his nerves completely. Inclining his head toward the music, he could feel the melody pervade his body. He could scarcely believe there had been a time where he hadn't cared about music. Surely something that has such a strong effect on the body and mind alike also conveyed a deeper meaning. Osawa let the positive energy flow through him, buoying his spirits. At last, when his mood sufficiently calmed under the music's influence, Osawa reached for the handset. Oh, Mr. Osawa, did you have to make a phone call? The study door had opened, and a stolid-faced man had appeared in the doorway. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. Oh. A detective with the Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Investigation Division, sociable but awkward, and despite his reserved personality, he can be quite unsettling. His colleagues at the precinct referred to him by the nicknames like Japanese Columbo and Little Ken Takakura, given his own quirky demeanor as a detective. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really, and his treatment of the kidnapping case gave an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. No, it's nothing important. Osawa drew his hand back from the phone. So we're not calling. So the question is, did we make this happen? Or would this guy have shown up even if we had reached for the phone? Have there been any developments, Detective? Kajiwara shook his head apologetically. Sorry to bother you, but when you're finished in here, could you be so kind as to come to the living room? All right, Osawa said quietly. It'll only be a little bit longer. Kajiwara nodded and departed. He took a nice deep breath, and then he dialed up Makino. Oh, okay. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said. Nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. Oof. Yeah, Galleon's stolid is calm or dependable. That sounds about right. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. Wow, damn. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. Oh my god. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. Yo, this got real. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it then. There had been human testing. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. Yo, that's intense. Kajiwara stood in the hallway. It's a creepy shot, actually. He looked like he'd been waiting there the whole time for Osawa to come out of the study. Are you hungry? He asked. Here, I've got something that's good for when you're tired. Kajiwara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. He pulled out a banana. We're actually describing a fruit belonging to family Musaceae? Genus Musa. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was a huge lover of bananas, and the peanut butter and banana sandwich is said to have been his favorite. If a banana peel is dropped under even remotely comedic circumstances, there's a high chance someone will eventually slip on it. Wow, this game. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. That is a creepy angle. Kajiwara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said, if you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajiwara hurried him toward the living room, Osawa could hear other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working in a time like this? Seriously? Sheesh, I do not get rich people and their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Aw, man. Nice. They were bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about all that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. Oh, man. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? And the detectives winced and grimaced. Nice. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things go out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him and not go out and bring Maria to safety. Already, close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko and Shibuya, have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the ransom handoff. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then, do it. We need you to pay it back afterwards, though, of course. Well, what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked up to a piercing shriek. Damn. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. Ai turned away in a huff. It's alright, Detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow morning and figure something out. At that, Ai stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Hitomi made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on, won't that put Maria in danger? Well, if we let the kidnapper get away with the money, we have no proof that he'll return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. Alright then, I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you going to just loaf around? Ai shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy! She was becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey, I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Osawa tried at his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Osawa said nothing. Damn, legit choice here. A or B, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, lady, shut up in front of everybody. Or, you're wrong, but I'm gonna not make a scene. B. So A or B? What's it gonna be? I'm most curious. 1 for A. 2 for A. I like that people are like, man, this woman's pissing me off. So that's why they're going with A. There's a lot of A's right now. There's 3 A's. No, we got 1 B. 4 A's though. I think we're doing A. That seems pretty straightforward here. All right. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. Wait. For his daughters? Are they not her biological daughters? By now he was accustomed to ice coldness toward the 2 girls. The twins were... Aha! The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who'd passed away 15 years earlier. So she's, like, straight up a wicked stepmother. I had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. I get the feeling this is what was going to come to anyway. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria's safe. And I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question! Answer me! Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. This guy, I smacked it out of his hand, but I'm not even mad. Oh dear. What a waste. Kajiwara scrabbled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Hello there, son of Nightmare. Or Zeha Nightmare. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate it if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father, too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable? Did the word ever ring of sarcasm? Jeez, stop doing that. He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research. Or, well, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who was more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little odd, after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he'd intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos, so long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo. What did it even matter? Yet Dracologist for real, like Mr. Freeman. So long as he could be left to his work, he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right, precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. Jesus! I'd appreciate it if you didn't hide things from me, Mr. Freeman, he said. Osawa gaped at a loss for words. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness, that makes it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I hope you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this, then? Meiji chocolate? This time he pulled a bar of chocolate from his pocket. No, thank you. Did this guy just carry an endless food supply wherever he went? Oh my, Kajiwara murmured. You geniuses really are tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like? is some time by myself. Oh, thank God. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he finally let out the breath he'd been holding. Then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. Okay. The Shining twins over there. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that after the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters, or virology? Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? A or B? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. Sorry. I'm doing a lot of talking. He'd known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated and sometimes made people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was his photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. Whoa, just cut. That was a little startling, honestly. So I think we've advanced to the next chapter. I'm just going to come back and handle a couple of other choices, and then that'll conclude the stream. Yeah, here we go! Once she's dead, you'll understand. He's right back where we started. Buddy, you're a weirdo. Eels and I are one and the same, what? Please keep this email a secret. Oh god, I know what that means. This game's too good. This game is freaking sweet. Cat's out of the bag. Yeah, that's an achievement for just, you know, advancing the story. But I am going to go back and check the previous things for Osawa. So we had this, which was calling Makino. I think we could just go ahead and do it. Dial to Makino. Boom. And we just go ahead and do it. Has there been any progress? Makino asked. His voice was somber. No, nothing much yet. A tiny sigh. Then what can I do for you? Okay. Oh, I can't skip this. Sir, I'll get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Didn't respond. Why can't I skip this then? What makes you think that? Describe the emails. Now it saves. Yeah, I can't skip this, so I'll see what happens. Hey there, Vice. I'm not over the phone. We'll discuss this in person. This is the same thing as before, though. Why can't I skip it? Huh. I mean, I guess I'll just let this go through. God, that is actually creepy every single time. God damn. I really don't get why I'm not allowed to skip this if nothing seems different. I was able to skip before in other scenarios, even when the dialogue ended up being a little bit different. There we go. Jeez, that was weird. And now let's go back to the other choice, and that'll conclude the stream. He said nothing, he was accustomed to her coldness, and then we move on. Okay. Did it. Solved it. Ah, oh, God. This freaking guy. I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir. So good. Alright, now, unless I actually missed something because of some weird combinations or whatever, I think that covers this part of the timeline. So now we are at new options for each character, but we'll have to deal with that later. So, thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a wonderful night.